building on our rich history in the community, celebrating the people and events that make this the great place we call home. Wave presents Wave Country with Dawn G.
Good afternoon, Wave Country. I hope you're warm and in a comfortable place as we have 30 minutes of some things that are so awesome right here in Wave Country. I thank you for spending the next 30 minutes with me, Dawn G. I appreciate it. Hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend. This is my first day back at work since taking a little break. I call it break. I cook so hard, I can't even begin to tell you. Anyway, today, WaterStep is here. They're taking over the show. We're going to talk about who they are, what they do, how you can get involved, how it's so important, unfortunately, more than ever before. We appreciate them. They were started right here in Wave Country, and they work really hard. My guest today, joining me from WaterStep, and I have a chance to work with them all the time. Carver is here. She is the Senior VP of Missions. It's good to see her. And then my crazy friend.
What's up, Pumpkin?
There you go. I consider him part. I got a big old family. He's part of my family. He is the founder and CEO of WaterStep. Mark Hogg is here.
Love being here with you, Dawn.
I am so glad
happy
you're here.
Yeah, good time.
So I'm going to bring this up. I don't know if you'll remember it, Mark. So I'm emceeing one of their programs, and I'm passionate about what they do because we forget water is life.
Absolutely.
Right? Water is life. And so I give this whole big spiel about how you all cross the world to help people in all of these foreign countries, and all of a sudden from way in the back somebody yells, "You know there's bad water in the United States too."
That's right.
Right?
And we're fixing that now too, baby.
We are. Right,
yeah.
but I didn't think about that.
Wow.
Right? As an American who has really never had too many problems, I've had families, you know, my family members who've lost homes to tornadoes and stuff like that and didn't have fresh water and all of that. But we don't think about it here.
Right.
We have the best water here.
Well, in
Louisville,
Louisville we
Kentucky.
do, but it's not so good when a tornado comes running through and you can't get fresh water and you're in eastern Kentucky or wherever you happen to be.
Do you know what we just found out today, Dawn? Is that Kentucky has 9 of the 10 most disastrous counties of anywhere in the entire United States. Kentucky, right here.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
it's
that something?
more and more every year. It goes up a percentage. And the Courier-Journal actually did a 2-part series on it, and it came out today, the second part, about how we need to be much more into preparedness and across the state. And we are going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But yeah, we're here to help with that because it is true. We take that for granted.
Yeah, we take it for granted.
Yeah.
I try not to leave my water running while I'm brushing my teeth. That's waste. That is such waste. Just the little things that we do because we can. We have water, so we don't
Nice
think
reminder,
about
absolutely.
it. Right? So you all do so much. For people who don't know who you are, let's start there. Because some people may say, WaterStep, WaterStep. You know who WaterStep is. So, talk about that.
So we are a nonprofit founded by Mr. Mark Hogg here, and have been around for 30 years. And the story of the origin of this organization is really quite profound. So Mark was on a mission trip, and every night was woken up by the drums in Africa. And he went down one day and said, you know, what's happening with the drums? And it's every night. And the response was, well, every time a child dies, we have to alert the community, and it's through these drums. And what the correlation is that those children are dying from waterborne illnesses.
Oh, yeah. And I remember when Mark came back, I hope I can get this out. There was a mother who had a baby, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, we do.
Laying down, and what was it, when you sit the baby up or lay the
baby down?
When you lay the baby down, okay, so they had terrible water, infested water with bugs, and sometimes you can't even see that in water. It looks like water, but you drink it, and those little parasites are in there, and every time she would lay the baby down, they would crawl up from its gut.
Couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
It's
out,
terrible.
up into his throat. And the baby couldn't breathe. So they couldn't lay the child down. They're trying to find a way to save the child. But because that child drank that water,
yes, ma'am,
that is awful.
That day, Mark Hogg decided to never, ever, within his power, have another child die from waterborne illness. That's something that we can do something about. We have the capacity, we have the tools, we have the resources. You know, there are cancers out there that take lives, but we know how to change this and what to do. And for 30
doable.
years,
Absolutely.
he's been doing it.
Well,
and
we've been doing it together.
quite honestly, you know, there's still 2.2 billion people that do not have access to safe water, and it's 2026 in a couple days. And so we are working day in and day out. We work 7 days a week, and we are trying to take all of our resources, all of our tools, all of our knowledge to any place that will accept us in helping them have safe water and to not have, we have lots of examples of schools and communities that, you know, kids are going to school now because they are not sick. You know, there are communities who are rising up because they feel healthy again and they're not getting sick or they're not passing away. I mean, it's a very, it's a tough problem to solve, but we can do it. We have the tools and the resources. We just need to be able to go do it.
Yeah, see, I feel you. I'm like that with hunger.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I'm looking at everybody going, come on, help me out here. We
can solve this together.
There are some things, like you said, we can't solve. We're working to solve them. You know, cancer and muscular dystrophy, all of that. And we should continue as hard as we can. But the things that we can solve, like, come on, y'all.
Yes.
Please, like, right? And we should, like, start giving money to things like Red Cross and things like that so that we're prepared. Like, you don't start working on the emergency after everybody is dying and then you have to get it together. Try to be prepared. So some people, Mark, see a problem.
Yes.
And they say, golly, that's a problem. Right? But they don't end up spending their whole lives and knocking on everybody's door, because he will knock on your door, trying to change it. Like, where'd that come from? I get it. I would have been right there with you, but it takes work.
I think for me, Dawn, it's finding that community of people that we just inspire in each other, and we work together and we build each other up. It's a very dynamic situation when you're working with problems like this. And you're aware of these terrible things that happen, and then disasters that happen that we need to be a part of to provide safe water there, and children that we know. You know, it's really difficult when you're a phone call away from getting a list of children that might not make it to the end of the week because they're drinking water that's bad for them. That whole dynamic is real difficult, and it requires, I think, a tremendous team that comes together in a unique way to do great things. Which the wonderful thing about Louisville is we are a city of compassion, and that those teams are everywhere.
Yeah, you tell us to move generally and say, I need you to do A, B, C.
Absolutely.
Folks start putting their coats and their shoes on, saying, okay, let me see where I fit in.
Yes, so I think I'm just going to say that the team that we have, and that WAVE, that you all do for us, like even today, I mean, it's such a great gift. The story is important. The story inspires, and when people are inspired, they want to do something, and we've got something for them to do.
And I'll speak to just what you were talking about, Mark, with the partners and such. We just came back from Jamaica. As we all know, Hurricane Melissa went through the Caribbean islands. And coming back from there, it really showed us how important it is that in order to help a community holistically, we really love to
Empower
partner.
them, too.
Well, we empower them, but most importantly, when we arrive on a scene, we are there with other partners like World Vision, like Israel Aid, ITDRC. You know, we're able to provide in that capacity Starlinks to get the community back up and going, fresh water, safe water, sanitation. We provide supplies. There were schools that completely were pummeled, and we are providing backpacks
and safe water,
yes,
and disinfectant.
all of it, but we're doing it as a team.
Absolutely, and as supplies overseas, we got them sending
SOS.
Yes.
Equipment down there for beds for these clinics that we were working at, and then Love the Hungry. They've sent packaged meals down there, so that team you're talking about is generating here in Louisville, but it's also we're being able to find those relationships and partnerships in other parts of the world that make us stronger, and we help them be stronger.
But we're always stronger together.
It takes a community, it takes a village.
Yeah.
That's what the old saying has always been. and you never see it quite as much as you do right after a disaster, and how everyone, you know, a lot of people don't have a home. They don't have food, hot food, you know, so we were with World Central Kitchen doing that. The packaged foods they could take home with them, you know, coats and boots, etc.
But we can't wait until the disaster hits.
can't.
You need the funds. They need the
Yes.
coats.
Yes.
It has to happen beforehand. So that, I mean, we're going to be talking about this throughout the show. When we come back, we're going to show you about some of the places they had to go and some of the things they had to do, even here at home. We take water for granted, especially here. Like you said, we got the best water, right? Anywhere in the world, anyway. More with WaterStep. I hope you'll stay with us. We'll be right back. A group that decided to change the world. You see, turn thirst into hope, and that changes it into health and changes it into education and so many other different things. We talked about some of the places. I think you all mentioned a little bit ago, Jamaica. We showed that video. Kenya 2025. We could add like 200 different places you are in a year, but just so you all can get kind of a visual of what goes on, we wanted to just show that, let you see what they're doing. And what is the machine, Mark? And I say machine, what is the equipment that you use?
We've designed, innovated some pretty unique equipment. It's a variety of things. We can treat water, to sanitize water, filter water, to make healings like a spray neosporin solution. We have that equipment out. We can make.
Wait a minute, you can make neosporin? Kind of like,
what I
know
call
that's a name that they have.
It's called hypochlorous acid. It's in our white blood cells. And the neat thing is the way you make water, disinfect water with salt and electricity, we can do that with salt, vinegar, and electricity. And so that's a product that we've been able to
And when you say electricity, because I know somebody just is thinking, well, the whole town is knocked down. There is no electricity. You do it with batteries.
12-volt battery, you sure can. Absolutely. You can do it off grid power, 12-volt battery. But when you imagine a clinic after a storm, I don't have disinfectant. I can't disinfect surfaces.
So that's death
Absolutely.
right there.
Can't disinfect surfaces. I can't clean wounds. I can't take care of people that have wounds on them. And I don't have safe water. When you can manufacture that, and then what about mold? So in Jamaica, there was a clinic. The mold was horrible. We got there about a week after.
Well, they shouldn't even be in there.
It was all, no, they couldn't be in there.
Okay.
So we were able to get them the bleach. They sanitized the mold. They killed the mold. They sanitized the place. And we came back a couple of weeks later. It was like a carnival there. There were doctors there. They had tents there. They were giving out supplies to families, and they had a bleach exchange for the families. They were manufacturing bleach, putting it in bottles, giving it to families. Families would come back. They get a refill. So they're sanitizing their homes, and they could even dose it into water that they were getting because they didn't have any safe water. It changes everything, and then you're being able to build on top of that. So I feel better. I'm working in my community that we're kind of coming back, you know, after the disaster. And so that's it's not one product. It's really a program, if you will. We have a variety of products. Some we manufacture, some we don't. But we have really smart people that we work with, and they come up with some really neat innovations.
You do. Here at home, it's been an awful year. This has been an insane tornado, flooding, not just here at home, but in the United States and then across the world. It's been a crazy year. Where have you all been here?
14 to 17% increase every year in disasters.
I hate to hear it.
And so here in the U.S., we've been working in Asheville. Of course, we've done work in the Kentucky areas, east and western Kentucky. But one of the things that we're working towards is that anticipatory action kind of deal. So we call it the lily pad.
I heard about this. You were telling me about it, Jen.
You want to talk?
Yeah, we have strategically placed our WOW carts, which is a water on wheels water treatment system. It's the only mobile water treatment system that has been NSF certified, which means it is okay to drink the product that comes out of it. We're very excited about that. We just received that and no one else can say that about their mobile water treatment system. So for us to have that and to be able to place these around the state in strategic places where there are most likely to be flooding or tornado activity.
So they're already there. We're not bringing them in.
We have several there. We have several already. We have about 27 out right now, and we are working with individual partners to bring more to areas in the state and even in the city that might not have access to resources first. So we looked up zip codes that may not be the first for somebody to respond to for whatever reason. And we're partnering with folks like Brown-Forman, Caesars Southern Indiana, et cetera, and those types of folks that are able to take one of these pieces of equipment and place it in a zip code that makes sense so that when that next disaster comes, because it will, that we will be able to station these all around the state and be able to provide safe water and disinfectant to a whole community for as long as they need it. It doesn't matter if it takes a day, a week, a month, a year. We are there, and we're able to do that part so that people can get back up on their feet immediately.
We're there without having to be there. And we may have some pictures of the trailers, but GE has built a unique trailer with us. And
You can talk about preparedness. Because I talk about prepared. I had some stuff in my car for winter. Well, I thought I had some stuff in my car for winter. I don't really. If you're not prepared, if you don't do the work for anything, whatever it is in your life, if you don't do the work, then you're not going to help the problem.
You know, it takes, I think, that fear away and that unknown away so that when something does happen that's catastrophic to us, we know that we can say, and we're hoping that other folks jump on board with us and are able to provide their services in a preparedness way as well. But if you know that something's getting ready to happen to your community, but yet you know, okay, when this happens, I know I can go down to this church parking lot and get X, Y, Z. I'm going to feel a whole lot better than having to go through that.
Saying, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I don't know what to do for my family. Gosh forbid I have kids, a baby. You know, when we were in Asheville, North Carolina, there were women with their babies in their Bjorn that literally came into us crying. The baby's crying. They can't drink the formula. They're not using the bottled water. It's been out in the sun. They had no way to feed a baby, nor wash the baby.
And that's here.
That's here in the United States. This happens more than what people think and realize. And, you know, if you don't go to a disaster site and see it for yourself,
you don't understand.
You don't understand. And I was one of those people before I went, and it changed my life completely.
We've still got so much to talk about. Now, anybody can be a partner. Anybody can be a partner. Are you hearing me? Work, church, civic group, anybody can be a partner. When we come back, this is our last segment here. We got a lot to do. We're just going to talk about everything they can do, what you can do, because you can do something. You can always do something. I can make a difference. I can. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I am so proud to say that I remember when. And I hated it, that story about that baby. I hope you heard the story of the child. That stays with me, Mark. I remember when you told me that, and that baby stays in my heart. And this is something we can do not only for our own country, but people across the world. I do believe I'm my brother's keeper, and I hope you do too. What can we do? You talked about the lily pads. What can we do?
We have a lot of ways to get involved now at WaterStep. There are several events that happen that people can get involved in, like our 5K. It's an annual 5K that's going to happen. Last year was our first year. Lots of young folks and running, and some people walked. It was fantastic. It was down at Lynn Family Stadium. So we're going to have that again this coming year. We're launching our first podcast. It's called By Her Hands, and it will be on all of the platforms that carry podcasts, and we're going to be very excited about that. But that's about empowering women.
I was going to say, is it called By Her Hands because it's mostly women that walk 850 miles?
It's actually a really exciting time. We have, again, we were talking about children, and our teen board is very heavily involved, and they wanted to do this, and it's just been so refreshing to see.
They're just amazing.
We were talking about this. You all, this may be a great way to get your teen group or your church group. Because I do believe if you have a young person and you teach them to start giving back, you've got to whole different human than you would have had they not done it.
And I love that, Dawn. We're working with 2 separate schools right now. One is a private school, one is a public school. The public school has just taken a school in Goma, which is the DRC, and built 4 latrines for them and has supplied them with safe water and disinfectant.
And
To
hand
have it there,
washing
and hand washing, yes, and hand
The
washing
whole
stations.
community comes to school to wash their hands.
And is that crazy? And we take that for granted.
Oh.
If you were to look at me and tell me I didn't have a running water with sink, I'd go, excuse me, what?
Well, it's funny because our person who went there on our behalf, he said, you know, it's so funny because now all the kids, they go outside and they do something and they come back and they wash their hands. And then they sit down and they might, you know, use a pencil or something, and then they go in there and wash their hands again.
I bet they're 20 times healthier.
They're so
Absolutely.
excited because they've never been able to do that, and they feel so empowered and safe and healthier, and just, it is the best feeling.
Do you all still do the shoes?
We do, and that's another way you can be involved is to collect shoes.
Now, explain that, because even I said, okay, Mark, I'm going to go give you all my shoes that I don't wear, but I didn't understand, you know, initially, like, okay, what are you going to do with these? I remember.
An exporter named Mo down in Miami.
Hey, Mo.
He's awesome. He'll come get the shoes and buy the shoes from us. And so we use that money to fund water projects, and he sells them all over the world.
Yeah, and they don't have to be
mom-and-pop places.
fancy shoes. It doesn't care what kind of shoes they are.
It's a great project. It's a great way for young people to get involved. It's a great intro. We love it when people come up and see the shirt and say, you're the shoe people. Well, let's tell you about that.
Yeah.
So it's a great intro.
We've got 90 seconds, and I don't know what's most important to you, so let's get this done.
So on our website, it's waterstep.org, and there are some peer-to-peer campaign opportunities that folks can get involved with. We also have events. If folks want to have some type of event with their family or their friends, they can
Like, you can
call
come
us.
up with it.
It's a unique event kit that helps you.
It's
We'll
a
help
whole
you do
tool
it.
set
Absolutely.
that just says, hey, go have bingo night, and you can still talk about WaterStep and the need for safe water around the world.
Okay, so we have all of that. Turn thirst into hope. You guys are right at 625 Myrtle Street, right there in Old Louisville.
We do a lot of tours.
And you do a lot of tours. You'll come to where you
Did one
need
this
to be.
morning. Yep.
Is there anything right now, other than it's the last of the year, people can give and get that donation that will be
cash.
tax-free?
Yeah.
We do need that cash.
Tax-free, you're right.
And as you know, a lot of nonprofits are hurting this year, especially, and they all need cash. A lot of things have changed in our world, and especially those of us that work in foreign countries with the USAID dollars dying. So it's an important time to give, absolutely.
And it's so easy to give. It's so easy to participate, to volunteer, to give your shoes. WaterStep.org. There's not a reason that we can't make this world safe when it comes to our water. You know I love you. I love you very much. WaterStep.